Hello everyone, I'm Angela from GYB Bags Travel, and welcome back to this week's The Wake Report, where I bring the cruise news and conversation that affect your vacation. Plus, in this week's GYB Bags Tip of the Week, I'll show you exactly how I prevent seasickness without any medication. So let's get into it. We begin with an update to the story we've been following here on The Wake Report. If you're planning a Mediterranean cruise that includes Santorini, this is definitely something you'll want to keep an eye on. Earlier this month, we talked about Santorini's new cruise arrival procedures designed to help manage over-tourism on the island. Well, this week another issue emerged that shows just how quickly things can change in popular cruise destinations. On Monday, local bus drivers on Santorini went on strike, bringing transportation services across the island to a standstill. Why? Well, it's all because of the new policy called the 70-30 rule that was introduced by Santorini's Port Authority. Under this rule, 70% of cruise passengers must disembark at the old Portafida, which is the bottom of a sheer cliff. To get up the town, you have to either climb 588 steep steps, ride a donkey, or wait for a cable car that only moves about 1,200 people per hour. The other 30% go to the new port, which is the only place tour buses can actually park and load. The bus operators call this whole setup dysfunctional, and honestly, when you're potentially dropping 8,000 people at the base of a cliff with no shade, no water, and one cable car in peak summer heat, kind of get their point. As a result of this strike, 3 cruise ships were forced to cancel their calls to Santorini altogether. Cruise lines determined that without transportation available to move thousands of visitors around the island, guests wouldn't be able to adequately experience the destination. Rather than risk a frustration port day, the ships simply skipped the stop. The bottom line is this: Santorini is in a real tug of war between managing over-tourism and keeping the cruise industry and the local economy running. And right now, that tension is affecting passengers directly. If Santorini is on your itinerary this summer or fall, keep a close eye on this story. We will keep watching and updating you as things develop. Now, have you ever had a port canceled because of something completely unexpected? Let me know in the comments below. Now, next up is the story that's generating a lot of discussion among loyal Caribbean cruisers. Royal Caribbean has quietly introduced a policy change that affects guests staying in Sky Class and Star Class suites. Traditionally, Coastal Kitchen has been one of the exclusive perks reserved for suite guests sailing on Oasis Class, Quantum Class, and Icon Class ships. But now, Royal Caribbean is allowing Sky and Star Class suites guests to invite friends and family who are not staying in suites to join them for dinner in Coastal Kitchen. And this is how it works. Star Class suites guests can invite up to 4 non-suite guests per meal. Sky Class guests can invite up to 2. All charges go on the suite guest's onboard account, and availability is subject to the restaurant having open spots. The pricing is tiered by meal. Breakfast is $15 per person, lunch is $25, and dinner is $25 as well. Kids 6 and under eat free. Ages 7 to 12 are charged $15. An 18% gratuity and VAT tax may apply depending also on your sailing. To arrange it, Star Class guests go through their Royal Genie before or during the cruise. Sky Class guests can reach out to the suite concierge or the Coastal Kitchen manager directly once on board. And heads up, availability for non-suite guests is limited, so if this is something you want to do, ask early. Now, if this sounds familiar, that's because Norwegian Cruise Line made a similar move a few months ago. NCL began allowing Haven guests to bring non-Haven passengers into the Haven restaurant under certain conditions and also for a fee. Cruise lines appear to be recognizing that families and groups often travel together even when everyone isn't staying in the same cabin category. From a guest experience standpoint, it certainly makes things easier. But there's another side to this conversation. Many travelers pay a significant premium specifically for access to exclusive venues like Coastal Kitchen. Some suite guests are wondering whether opening the doors to additional passengers could eventually impact availability, wait times, or overall feeling of exclusivity that comes with booking those higher-end accommodations. At this point, Royal Caribbean says the invitations remain capacity controlled, so suite guests still retain priority access. But it'll be interesting to see how this one evolves over time. So here's the question I want to put to you today. Is this a great perk? Being able to share the coastal kitchen experience with friends who didn't book a suite? Or does it chip away at what made the space special in the first place? Does exclusivity lose its value when it becomes buyable? Drop your take in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you think. Now, if relaxation is your favorite part of cruising, MSC announced some significant upgrades. MSC Cruises is launching a completely refreshed wellness and spa experience across its fleet. Starting this summer and rolling out across the fleet throughout 2026, the upgraded MSC Aurea Spa is moving way beyond the traditional cruise and spa model. MSC is calling it a comprehensive wellness and beauty destination. Let me walk you through what's new. Medical wellness is now on the menu with IV therapy, aesthetic injectables, dermal fillers, and permanent makeup, all performed by licensed professionals. They're adding AI-powered skin analysis, where you get a personalized skin assessment that recommends treatment and products specifically for you, and then an upgrade charge later. One of the additions I think is really interesting is the Japanese head spa, a scalp and hair ritual inspired by traditional Japanese wellness practices. That's rolling out fleet-wide from the summer 2026 as well. Professional teeth whitening, modern barbering services, and even ear piercing are all part of the new offerings. Now, for guests booked in the Aurea Experience cabins, they will receive a premium welcome wellness kit when they arrive, including branded flip-flops and other amenities. MSC says the goal is to move beyond simply offering massages and facials and instead create a more holistic wellness journey during the voyage. If you're someone who enjoys spa access, thermal areas, wellness treatments, and relaxation-focused vacations, this is definitely worth exploring before your next MSC sailing. And finally, let's have a fun one. Carnival Cruise Lines has announced the return of its frightfully fun Halloween celebrations for 2026. Throughout the Halloween season, Carnival ships across the fleet will transform with spooky decorations, themed activities, costume contests, trick-or-treat events, and Halloween-inspired entertainment. Guests can expect costume parties, themed games, pumpkin-themed activities, seasonal food offerings, and plenty of opportunities to get into Halloween spirit while at sea. One thing Carnival does especially well is creating a festive atmosphere around holidays, and Halloween has become one of the most popular themed cruise experiences they offer. For families, it's a chance for kids to enjoy trick-or-treating and costume events while still enjoying everything the ship normally offers. And for adults, let's be honest, many cruises enjoy the opportunity to dress up and join in the fun as well. So if you've never sailed during a holiday-themed cruise, the energy on board can be completely different from a standard sailing. And if you've cruised during Halloween before, share with your photos with us. You can send them to info@grabybags.travel.com. I'll be looking forward to sharing you in a future episode. Now it's time for this week's Grab Your Bags Tip of the Week. One of the questions I get from first-time cruisers all the time is,
Angela, what do I do if I get seasick?
Now, everyone is different, and I always recommend speaking with your doctor if you have concerns. But personally, I never use medication for seasickness. Instead, I rely on a few strategies that have worked extremely well for me. These right here, Seabands or acupuncture wristbands, have been my secret weapon for years. They work by applying pressure to a specific point in your inner wrist called a P6 point. That's linked to nausea relief, drug-free, no drowsiness, no side effects. The original Seabands are great, but I'll be real with you, I never loved how they looked. They're a little chunky and they get soaked in the water. Recently, I switched to this newer, thinner style and honestly looks like a regular bracelet. It's waterproof, adjustable, way more comfortable to wear all day, and it works just as well. What I also love about this one is that it has additional pressure points for other things like anxiety, migraines, and insomnia. I haven't tried the migraine one yet, but it's definitely on my list. There are also more high-tech options now that they look like a fitness tracker or a smartwatch. They are FDA cleared and more expensive, but many cruises swear by them. I'll link to all of these below so that you could take a look and see what fits your style and budget. Now for a few other things that helped me, number one, green apple trick. I learned this from a stateroom steward years ago during rough seas and I was skeptical, but it worked. Something about the tartness settles the stomach. Now I always grab one from the buffet and keep it in my cabin just in case. Number two, ginger ale, ginger chews, ginger candies. Ginger has been a natural motion sickness remedy forever, and it really does help. I even noticed the ship offering ginger tea bags to help relieve the nausea. Now for other tips, book a midship cabin on a lower deck when you can. You feel the motion least there. You will feel the most rocking in the very front of the ship. Keep your eyes on the horizon when you do feel queasy. Stay hydrated and make sure to get fresh air. Find what works for your body and be prepared. That's all it takes. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Wake Report. If you found this information helpful, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes. And if you're planning a cruise and would like some help finding the right sailing, I'd love to help. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy cruising.